Well, hello. I'm sorry that we cannot be outside. She's got the helmet on, she's ready. I'm sorry that we cannot be outside because of this air quality. I mean, this is unprecedented. I don't think we've ever seen things like this in this country in a long time. We've had quite the year with this air quality. I want to thank everyone for coming. I want to thank Councilmember Gruber for joining us. I'm here with Rich Perrin. The city's DES commissioner and his team are essential to moving Rochester to a cleaner and greener future. Thank you for that, Rich. I also want to introduce Joe Bott. I love that name, Joe Bott. Who's Joe Bott? Joe Bott. The Policy and Partnership Manager of VIO. They are our new partner for our micro mobility program. Thanks for joining us, Joe. Welcome. And then thanks to Corinda, and I got to get used to saying Reeves. Corinda Reeves, congratulations. Chief Customer and Community Experience Officer with RTS and a great partner of ours. And also Jesse Pierce, the cycling manager with Reconnect Rochester. Where's Jesse? Jesse, thank you for being here. And most importantly, where's Cinnamon? There we go, Cinnamon, for joining us today. Cinnamon McCullum is an avid cyclist, participates in many of Rochester's events, and resides in the city. Cinnamon is excited about taking advantage of the bikes and scooters, and she will share some thoughts on what it means for riders. I wish Assemblymember Damon Meeks was here. We had Mayor on the Block this past weekend, yesterday, and he rode around on a scooter the entire time. So many of us took a car from spots. He made us all feel bad. I felt like I was increasing our carbon footprint, and he was on the scooters, but maybe we'll do that next time. And we are here to announce VIO as the city's vendor for our latest shared micro-mobility program. About 200 scooters were placed all around the city yesterday in every quadrant. E-bikes will arrive in July. After everyone has had a chance to speak, we will open it up to Q&A. And we hope to have this on the Genesee Riverway Trail. We had this great backtrack plan. And an opportunity to have folks like Councilmember Gruber jump on the scooter and get firsthand experience with all VIO has to have for. He was ready. But the fires in Canada, it also was canceling a lot of soccer games today. Fires in Canada have put a stop to that. Sadly, this is a blunt and painful reminder of why we are collaborating with green and clean transportation partners. What we're seeing today, the fact that we are talking about mobility inside this building because we can't do it outside, because we don't want to have our guests coughing, because of the horrible air quality that's outside, because of forest fires, which weren't caused because people lit a match, but because of dryness, which is related to climate change, is almost poetic in why we're here today. So we must act now in every way possible to avoid having what we experience today become a regular occurrence in our world. But this is a day to really celebrate VIO and this partnership, and I want to hand this off to Councilmember Gruber, and then after Councilmember Gruber, I'll hand it off to our DES commissioner, and then he will call on Joe, Corinda, Jesse, and Cinnamon. Councilmember Gruber.
Thank you, Mayor Evans, and I really want to thank the Evans administration. We lost our last micro-mobility vendor kind of out of the blue, and they worked very hard. A lot of fantastic people on staff worked very hard to make sure that we got a new organization, new company in place quickly. Very excited to welcome VIO to the Rochester market. It's really nice that they have experience in upstate New York. They're right down the road in Syracuse, and hopefully whatever is going well in Syracuse will go even better here. So I really want to thank the Evans administration. I want to thank RTS and Corinda, who RTS has been a great partner in this, and the more that we can have intermunicipal agreements and agreements with other big organizations like RTS, the more this can grow. And most importantly, I really want to thank our advocates like Cinnamon and, of course, Reconnect Rochester and the whole crew there. At the end of the day, Mayor Evans brought up the environmental aspect of needing micromobility, but let's also be clear, this is also an equity issue. We need to make sure that we have opportunities to help people get to the last mile, to get to work, to get to the store, to get to wherever it is, to get to childcare, wherever they need to go, and ultimately having a whole fleet of bikes and scooters deployed around town in smart strategic locations is an equity measure. And that's what this administration is all about. That's what our city council is about. And I'm really grateful to hear that VIO also has a lot of things to offer to individuals who are struggling financially in this community. I look forward to hearing a little bit more from them about that soon. The last thing I just want to say is just a plea to the community. Vote with your dollars. Use this system. These systems work. VIO will stay here for a long time, more than we've had any other vendor stay here, when people utilize their system. So I promise you, Mayor, you will find me on one of those scooters. You will. I will be on one. I'll probably prefer the bikes, but I will ride both. You'll see me all over town. I'll come to the next city council meeting riding one of these, but I want the community to also be riding them too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Rich.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Councilmember Gruber. Really excited to be here. I do want to acknowledge, too, from the Department of Environmental Services, our lead really on putting this together, David Riley. David did just a tremendous job throughout the solicitation to identify this. And it's really important because the city already works with partners like Mobility Development for our electric vehicle car share program, Flow Share. And this is all really part of what I will call our mobility as a service ecosystem. And it's about, as council member mentioned, it's about providing those options, those choices for people to travel throughout the city without having to rely on a private vehicle. It keeps our transportation choices greener and helps keep emissions down. I think it's really important because every single one of our residents needs a transportation option that they can afford. And when ownership becomes a barrier to access and mobility, as the council member noted and has been front and center with everything that the mayor talks about, it's an equity issue. So that's something that we've gone ahead and started to figure out and work through, and we're going to continue to make that better. So when you couple these new electric options that we have, both the cars and now the micromobility, with what RTS provides, there's a lot of different options that people can access and do what they need to do to get where they need to be when they want to be there. And so we are very excited to work with VIO. They have a strong track record in Syracuse and across the U.S. It was very much on us, and we felt a lot of pressure to make sure that we got the right pick for this. So we did everything we could, and I will say that VIO also even we ended up receiving even some unsolicited positive references from them, things that they weren't even aware of, and we were told, no, we didn't tell them, we're just calling you to tell the City of Rochester what a great job they did. So I think what's really important to note is that their program operates on ridership revenue. It's not costing the city anything. They're committed to restocking these devices weekly in every quadrant of the city. As people move around, these vehicles are going to go around, they're going to have to be reset. I'm sure that they're going to learn from that so that they can ensure that the supply of the vehicles meets demand, and that's absolutely critical. I think the other critical part is that they're employing local staff to pick up and reorganize these devices daily. So not only are they restocking them, but every day they're going to get moved around to where they need to be to ensure that everyone has these options available for them to move. They've also already, illustrated a commitment to responding quickly to issues like improperly parked vehicles. That's really important for us. And we're going to need the users, our city residents and visitors, to make sure that they do this the right way. You can't leave this in the middle of a sidewalk, because that's also an equity issue for somebody who uses an assistive device or is just a pedestrian and doesn't need to go into the street. So it's going to be really important that the rules are followed in terms of where these are placed. These are going to be at multiple places. As the season progresses, we're going to identify additional spots with them. And while VIO focuses on bikes and scooters, we're focused on safety. Our Complete Streets policy and our soon-to-be-released active transportation plan are really our roadmaps to make city streets safer for all. So regardless of if you're on one of these vehicles, your own, you're walking, we really want that to be, because if you're on one of these, you're a vulnerable user. You're not surrounded by upwards of a couple, maybe a few tons of metal, plastic, and rubber. So it's really going to be important as we go forward to ensure that we have safe operation by all users, and this is part of our safe systems approach. There's also good evidence that e-bikes appeal to a broad range of riders. They'll ride them long distances, they'll ride them short distances, and these can really help replace those trips that are otherwise taken by car. You heard Councilmember Gruber mention that last mile. So when we look at it, we don't look at it as just a trip, we look at it as a journey made up of multiple modes of transportation. And so people will trip chain where they'll do multiple things. And this is going to allow another option for them to maybe go here where before they maybe needed a car, but they don't need that now. And once they're there, they can take RTS. And as they keep moving around the city, you're going to start to see people become more savvy. And as they do that, they're going to have better access to needed services, to employment, to education. It would have been nice to get out on the Genesee Riverway Trail today. It really would have been. Take a ride down there and see it. but that's where we're at right now. So you would have seen the new downtown harbor at Cornhill Landing. You can jump on a scooter, go to Jazz Fest. We got Cornhill Arts Festival. We got lots of festivals coming up, so remember those. Or just as it's a daily option for not even a major event, but just dinner. So we want to continue to find more and more options to supplement walking, biking, and when people want to make that trip by car, they can. And also make sure that transit is a viable option. And this helps, again, with that trip chaining and creating a full journey. So I'm confident we're up to the challenge. I'm thankful for the partners we have to help us along the way. And with that, I want to introduce to you, obviously, as the mayor noted, the guy probably up here with the coolest name, Joe Bott, VO's Policy and Partnership Manager. So Joe, come on up.
Well, I'm glad that my name was an exciting start. It's 2 syllables, so it is quick and easy. But again, my name is Joe Bott, and I'm a Policy and Partnerships Manager with VO. And it's my honor, and I'm excited to be here celebrating our partnership with the City of Rochester as its new shared micromobility provider. I first want to say thank you to Mayor Evans and Commissioner Perrin and their respective staffs, as well as members of City Council for their leadership in advancing clean transportation in Rochester. I also want to thank David Riley from the Department of Environmental Services, who was absolutely instrumental in connecting us with members of the community and local organizations to ensure that this program meets community needs and expectations. So thank you, David. At VO, our mission is to end car dependency by making clean transportation accessible to all. We do this by forging long-term partnerships with cities like Rochester to ensure that shared scooters and bikes are a safe and convenient, clean transportation solution. Here in Rochester, we're excited to offer residents our classic standing e-scooter, to my right here, as well as our Cosmo throttle-powered e-bike. The seated Cosmo with its large tires and lower center of gravity, if you're unable to pedal, or if you prefer a more balanced ride, is ideal for that user. Together, our Astro standing scooter and the seated Cosmo e-bike give options and increase access for riders of diverse ages and abilities. VO is committed to providing transportation access to people who don't own or have access to a private vehicle. In fact, in about our markets across the country, about 1/3 of all of our riders do not own or have access to a vehicle. And with that, summer's here, and there's no better time, I guess perhaps with the exception of today, to get outside and ride. A shared scooter or bike may be ideal for your next trip, whether you're connecting to transit, headed to the farmer's market, or just meeting friends downtown. To celebrate our launch here today, riders that enter the promo code SUMMER23 will receive $5 in ride credit toward their first ride. And VO, again, is proud to partner with the City of Rochester, and we look forward to bringing the city and its residents a safe, affordable, and sustainable transportation option this riding season and for many years to come. Thank you.
And next up, we'll have Corinda Reeves from RTS. Corinda.
Good afternoon. I'd like to start by thanking Mayor Evans, Commissioner Perrin, Councilmember Gruber, Joe Bott, Jesse, and Cinnamon. I'm happy to be here on behalf of our CEO, Miguel Velasquez, and the entire RTS team to launch our community's new shared micromobility program. As we've seen over the past few years and heard about today, the bike and scooter sharing program is a popular one that provides a number of benefits to the community. From a public transit perspective, it represents a national trend of new mobility options that give people more choices to reach the important destinations in their lives. It represents a zero-emission mobility option for those mindful of the carbon footprint. And it also addresses, as we've heard this afternoon, the first and last mile challenges for people who rely on the bus but have to walk a mile or more to get to the nearest bus stop or from the bus to their final destination. Finally, this program represents a continuation of our close partnership with the City of Rochester to help improve the lives of people that we serve. We appreciate the hard work of everyone involved and look forward to working with VO, the City of Rochester, and all of our partners and make this a successful program in years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Corinda. And now we'll have Jesse Pears, and then Jesse will be followed by Cinnamon. Jesse?
Reconnect Rochester is a nonprofit that champions transportation choices that enable Monroe County to be a more vibrant and equitable place. We advocate for a well-connected community that makes it easy for everyone, regardless of physical or economic ability, to get around easily and safely. We're thrilled to welcome VIO in bringing their brand of micro-mobility sharing to Rochester. After meeting the awesome VIO team and reading about their great track record of successful operations in Syracuse and dozens of other cities across the country, we're confident that they'll be a great fit for us here in Rochester. The bike and scooter share system gives people another mobility option to connect them to jobs, education, healthcare, shopping, and all the other places they need to go. And this is especially important for the quarter of a city households that cannot afford to own a personal vehicle and rely on biking, the bus, or other means to get around. The system must be accessible to all. That means stations located in neighborhoods throughout the city, not just in downtown and wealthier areas. And we're pleased to see the VIO station map extends to underserved areas with folks for whom low-cost bike transportation is not just a novelty, but an economic opportunity. And the reduced monthly membership option VIO offers for low-income residents will be key to making sure the system is accessible for all. Thanks to groups like Rock Freedom Riders, EE Pathways, Black Girls Do Bike, the Major Taylor Cycling Club, Conky Cruisers, and others, we're making great progress in building a bike community and culture that reaches all parts of the city. VIO's presence in all of our neighborhoods will only add to that effort. We commend Mayor Evans, Commissioner Perrin, and the City of Rochester for not giving up on bike share despite some trials over the last several years, and being solid in its commitment to making this mobility option part of our transportation landscape. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. Cinnamon.
Hi there. They gave the introvert the mic. Watch out. Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be here. I'm really excited to hear about this. And I have an interesting story, I think, that everyone will appreciate. I love micromobility. I have a little collection of bikes and scooters at home. And one Sunday, a few weeks ago, I was riding my scooter and I had pulled over to drink some water, so I had my scooter parked next to me. And two young ladies were crossing the street. And they saw me and they came over and they were really excited and they were like, oh my God, your scooter is so cute and I want one. And they were asking all these wonderful questions and I was so happy because I was like, you are asking the right lady because I can preach the gospel about micromobility all day. So we had a wonderful conversation for several minutes until one of them asked me, how much did your scooter cost? So I told her, you know, brand new, it was about $2,000 or so, and their faces dropped. And I was like, oh no, I'm losing them, wait. And then I remembered that recently Reconnect Rochester posted about VIO on their Instagram profile. And I was like, no, this is great service that's coming to Rochester, where it's like pay as you go. And we pulled it up on their phone and we looked at the website together. And they were so enthusiastic and they were just so happy about the possibilities that micromobility would bring to their lives. And they were talking about how their cousin can use it and they would use it to go to work. And it was just a great conversation. It just reminded me about how micromobility, it can be a toy for some people, it can be just a choice for other people, but also for some people, it improves their quality of life. And so I just want to say two things. I got you 2 new clients, you're welcome. And also, welcome to Rochester. We're really happy to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you. And Cinnamon, I think that's just such a powerful story because I think that story that she just told encapsulates the importance of this program that goes beyond just having fun and riding around a scooter. It's lowering barriers to entry to allow people to be able to take advantage of micro-mobility options, and we believe that this will be able to do that. So again, I want to thank Councilmember Gruber, Commissioner Perrin, Joe Bott, Corinda Reeves, Jesse Pierce, and Cinnamon McCullough for joining us today and speaking on behalf of the importance of micro-mobility. And I think with that, are we doing some demonstrations, Rich, or what do we do? I don't, well, you got to be careful riding around here. Yeah, so we might not be able to do some demonstrations around here, but I think that we can take any questions that you might have from the experts. I am not the expert, but you got a lot of smart people here that probably can answer any questions that you have. So do we have any questions?
Just curious
Seth?
about, I did read about the cost, but there's also help available for folks that
Joe, you want to?
are in-house. If you could kind of explain how that works and maybe the difference in cost for those folks.
Sure. So we have a program called VO Access. It's a monthly membership. So for $5 a month, you'll get one free ride a day up to 30 minutes, and then 20 cents a minute thereafter. It's available to individuals that receive some sort of public assistance, whether that's state, federal, or even local. There's information on our website about that program and how to kind of apply, but they can contact our customer service and then apply for that program, and if they qualify, they would receive a reduced fare, or reduced rates for their rides.
What's your experience been in other cities just when it comes to being able to kind of keep an eye on all of these like fees, or do they wind up kind of scattered around and you have people that corral them up, or are people good at kind of making sure they're back to where they're supposed to be?
It's a great question. So, one of the things that we do is we have a local operations team here on the ground. Jason Finkminer is our operations manager. So we have a team of local techs. They go and they rebalance the scooters, meaning they move them, back to hubs and locations throughout the day. And on top of it, there are some growing pains as a market launches and as devices get out. But I think generally people want to do the right thing and put it where it goes and kind of do the things they're supposed to do. And it just takes sometimes a little bit of time to do that. But we will kind of continue to work through those growing pains and collaborate with the city to make sure that we're doing all the things we can to make it as easy as possible to keep things looking good and where they're supposed to be.
Great. Nothing else? Okay, great. And I hope that everyone here, we got a good audience that's here. Make sure that you go and take advantage of these shared mobility options, and make sure you wear a helmet. If you notice, Cinnamon's got her helmet on, and we got helmets on here for safety as well. So thank you everyone for being here, and we look forward to the success of this program, and happy 4th of July if we don't see you before. Thank you everybody.